So, hello everybody. Welcome to Tea with Avril, and welcome to Kitty, my older sister, and Beryl, my second older sister. And I can't say they're older than me because they're not old. And then we've got a sister in the UK which we miss. So shout out to Marilyn. She'll see us on Facebook.
Hi, Marilyn.
And my two sisters, we are all very jovial and very loud, and then I asked them to be on camera and they're both quite shy. Turns out. So I'm here doing Tea with Avril with my sisters because we had a mother that we loved very much and she passed a few years ago. But she was quite a good homemaker. Not perfect in any way, but she was a good homemaker. We always felt at home and loved. And I learned from my mother, and so did Kitty, and so did Beryl. But then they also were good homemakers, and they didn't do everything the same as my mom. And I, being the youngest, had the opportunity of learning from three wonderful women how to be a good homemaker. And so I think I'm nearly there. But because of the first bundle of workshops we have done, the one is about the household, I thought having tea with the two of the ladies that taught me to be a good homemaker and a lover of my family, I thought it would be nice to have tea with Beryl and Kitty, my two sisters.
Okay,
and
you can say the two older ladies.
We're all going grey. Okay, so the first thing so I always do this. I always want to show them how clever I am because they're cleverer than me, always have been. And so I want to give you something very healthy to drink. This is what they used to do to me when I was a little girl. My worst nightmare was drinking postum. I don't know if anybody of you know what postum is, but when coffee was decided wasn't good for you, they came out with some crazy thing called postum. And we freaking all had to drink postum in our house. And they used to make me drink all these weird things. Because I'm the youngest, I had to listen. And Kitty was allowed to give me hidings. I'm just saying. Just putting it out there. So I've got something interesting to drink. So, Kitty and Beryl, this is very healthy for you. This is something called rosy tea. Okay? Now, rosy is before, it's on a rose bush before the bud opens. That's what a rosy is. It's incredibly healthy. It's good against any viruses. So in this COVID time, it's always a good thing to drink something on a regular basis that is really good for you and will help your body fight infection. And I'm going to, so you need very little because it's very strong, actually. And I'm just going to ask you to taste a little bit. You can smell it. It doesn't smell bad. The funny thing is I'm a bit nervous that they're actually going to like it. That's what makes me nervous.
You have to give us some.
Oh no! You can have the packet.
I actually think I've had rosy tea back sometime.
Yes, it's not the same.
But it reminds me of rosy cheer. Remember rosy cheer?
Yes.
What was the other one? Fortress.
Yes.
I don't know if it's made of the same thing.
It's possible.
But I think they stopped it with very high sugar.
Yes, but no, this doesn't have any sugar.
No.
This is just the dried roses. Can you see it? Actually infuses quite quickly. Sorry,
yeah.
I'll have the one with all the bits in.
Okay.
So there you go. Yeah. Okay, you take that one and you take that one.
Yeah.
And cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. To no COVID.
I'm waiting for them to drink.
Actually, it's very nice. It's refreshing.
I hate it.
I drink black rooibos.
Oh, ghost.
Okay.
You see, they are.
But I don't do the flavoured teas.
But this is not.
No,
this is really not. This is just a.
This is a little bit like chai, but doesn't have the spice.
I think maybe I made mine too strong when I drank.
This is refreshing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to have to share my rosy tea.
Very nice.
So for those of you who want to try the rosy tea, you drink it very, very weak, and you'll be able to buy this on our website soon, and there'll be a few different sizes. So go and keep an eye out. We'll let you know on Facebook when that will be going. And then I'm going to have to share this between my sisters. We put this over there, Bella. Okay. So they found that very refreshing. I'm kind of somewhat disappointed, but I'm glad. So we're here to have tea because I want you to discover a little bit of the wisdom that I had the opportunity to partake of as a little girl and grew up to be the woman that I am. So I'm going to throw out some questions and let them discuss it. And we might only get one question down today, or we might get all 4 questions I have today. Okay, so the first question I want to say is, as homemakers, what was the most important thing that you had? Give me the tea.
Okay, but now when you say homemakers, does it mean when you were first married or when there were children in the house? Because there's a difference.
Okay, but a homemaker is a homemaker, and you start when you're first married.
Okay.
And then you end up not killing your husband when you're older.
Yeah, so if you're looking at the fact it's the home, the physical home, obviously I always believe that it should be a place that's welcoming, that's clean, that's orderly.
Yeah.
And obviously the first thing that when you're married, when you go and buy curtains and you do cushions and you do tapestries and what have you, so that when people come into your home, there's an ambience. You feel welcome.
Okay.
And you feel comfortable, and if things are dirty and untidy and ugly, then you feel anxious. So the first thing is to make things comfortable and looking good and smelling clean.
Okay. So that is important to create an atmosphere of peace and tranquility.
And harmony.
Can I say that? And harmony.
Yes.
Ella?
Yes, I agree with that. And I think the main thing is to be comfortable. To me, it's if your house is like a show house and people have to take off their shoes when they walk in, or you don't want them to sit there because they'll muck up the cushions, then that is not a home. Keith hates scatter cushions, he loathes them. So he finds they sort of quite fussy. Yes, please. But yes, I agree. It must be comfy, it must be safe. So you must be able to live in it.
Yes. So it must be comfortable, and part of that comfort is the calmness of not being too fussy around.
Yes.
Fanciness.
Yes.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and that's awesome. That's what I try and create. I try and say to people, we live in this home. It's a home it doesn't matter if there is maybe one pair of shoes on it. My sister Kitty used to make us clean our rooms. I won't tell you what the process was. But I was a little girl and I was packing whole cupboards, I'm just saying. But Kitty has always been really organised in that. And so at the stage I did learn to be more organised. I'm still not at Kitty status. But it is, you can go and sit on any of our couches, and if you need to put your feet up, you're allowed to.
Yes.
On the coffee table.
Yes.
On the coffee table.
And I'll never forget that when my children came along, my mom-in-law had a thing where if they touched any ornaments, she had a pin and she used to prick them.
Oh my word.
And I just said to her, Ma, I'm very sorry, do you not dare do that to my children? Because if you don't want them to touch something, either I won't bring them to your house or put it out of the way. But children have a need to touch and to experience life. Yeah. So once my children were born, I put ornaments away until they were past the stage where they didn't know how to listen.
Absolutely. And then if they broke and they were there, you were the adult, it's your fault.
Yes.
Not the kids.
Exactly.
Well, at the moment we live with everything high up because there's Mikey that's not true.
Yes, the same thing with
I just lifted everything all up. Yeah. Just because up and out of the way.
But this picking with a pin on the hand, no way.
No. Okay, so now we're talking about touching things. So when your babies were small and they would touch things, did that freak your mind because of hygiene?
No, not me. No, I can't remember that.
You know, I was very careful that the stuff that they touched, like not dog poo, obviously, but I always believed that they had to be exposed to certain, let's say, germs, so that they had built up an immune system.
Yeah.
If you make it too clean, and then all of a sudden they go out into the big wide world, they'll get dreadfully sick. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I didn't purposely. I would make sure that the floor was washed once a day at least, or that other thing.
Yeah. So it's not clinically clean, but it is
clean. It's
Hygienic,
reasonably clean.
yeah.
It's reasonably clean. They need to go on the grass. They need to play in, as my grandchildren call it, the dirt. We used to call it sand.
Yeah.
And they need to do those things, and before they eat, they must just wash their hands.
Yeah.
Okay. So good personal hygiene, you taught them things like that. And that was important.
Yes. Their mother bathed them every night, whether they wanted it or not. They would be bathed every
Kitty
night.
had 2 sons, and Beryl had 2 sons and a daughter. And I've realized I've got 3 daughters. Oh, I can't leave one out. I've got 3 daughters. I'll be in such trouble. But I've realized it's very different raising boys and girls. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Boys just get into everything and go everywhere and explore everything because they have they're very technical minded. They want to see how things work and they want to know everything. Actually, Bill and I both allowed our children into the pot cupboard.
Yes.
But Mommy also did that.
And a Tupperware cupboard.
The Tupperware cupboard and the pot cupboard, so that they could bang and
Feel and
put on top of each other and build. And it wasn't their
noise.
toys, so it was actually exciting to do something that actually belonged to Mommy, but we're allowed to play with
Touch it.
Yeah.
Unpack the cupboard.
And I think it's very strange that from the beginning, without even teaching boys, they already do the cars and the noises for the cars and everything.
It's crazy.
And I think girls are different. Girls are immediately wanting to do
I
it
had
all.
2 boys first, and then Wendy was about, I'm going to guess, about 5 to 6 months sitting on the bed, and I was astonished to see her pick up the teddy and actually rock it.
Like a girl. And you never saw your boy
No, and I
before.
don't think she'd ever seen it, and I'd never done anything like that, and she just did it, and I was quite taken aback.
Okay, now I want to get back to kind of cleaning the home, and so nurturing is important to you, and tranquility, and being comfortable in your house, feeling home at home.
And also, once the
balance.
children come along, so they each have their own space that reflects their personality and that they're comfortable there and that it's comfortable for their friends. They always had to, I didn't want them to feel they couldn't be home, so they'd be out in the streets. We had like a swimming pool and a table tennis table and a trampoline, so the children felt they could come to our house, and the children could have their space reflecting their personality.
Yeah, I remember as a teenager, I also went to stay with you for a year, and I babysat all day.
Yes, and you had the whole neighborhood to babysit, not so?
It was fabulous.
Yes.
Okay, so please help yourself to something to eat. The next question is around how did you choose your household products? That's a pig's ear, Kitty.
I know.
That's fun. I like that.
Well,
name.
when we were young and we had to be very thrifty, we took what...
Yeah, I was just going to say
The cheapest, and I'll have one of those little ones.
Okay.
Yeah, it had to be cost effective.
Yes.
And we used to do that with cleaning products and with food.
But
Okay.
I also made sure that it didn't cause eczema.
No, sure.
That the children weren't allergic.
Yes.
But I think that we learned as we went along.
Yeah, no, that we learned.
Because you wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
to
So
begin
when I was going to get married, even though I'd been cooking for the bigger family at home, I had just a small fridge and deep freeze, the little freeze on top, and I spoke to Kitty, and she wrote me a list of a month's worth of meat. So I've got chicken pieces and fish and bacon and meat, and I would pack it all in Tupperware, and it would fit in that small deep freeze.
A whole month.
And that was a month's worth.
Awesome. That's very clever.
And at
But
that
I used
stage,
to buy once a month.
that was once a month. And at that stage, I earned just over 300 rand, by the way. Okay.
For those of you overseas, that was a lot of money a long time ago.
When I started working, I earned 150 rand.
Oh, I bet you all. I earned 700. By the way, I know you won't notice, but I'm 15 years younger than Kitty, and how many years younger than Beryl?
12.
12 years younger than Beryl. And you won't say it, I know I look older than them because I'm wiser.
You don't.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so then so budget was important to you.
Yes, yes.
It had to be.
But I must say that for washing products, I stuck to sunlight washing powder, sunlight liquid, and sunlight soap, because when I tried to wash nappies and put them in buckets of nappy sand, it was a nightmare. And Mommy had to come and teach me that you washed, because there weren't paper nappies then. Mommy had to teach me that you rubbed nappies. Breastfed babies have stains on their nappies, and you rub it with sunlight soap and you put it into boiling water, and it took all the stains out. So from there, all my products for washing was sunlight soap.
But I still use the cake of sunlight soap for stains.
So
Still works, and I know Berlina is helping Wendy as well. She's doing it there as well on Mikey's knees for when he was crawling.
Yes.
All that works.
So Mikey is Beryl's little grandson of 2 years, 1 year.
Almost 2.
Almost 2 years.
Getting there,
Getting there. Okay, so budget. So if you could find a product that was maybe just a little bit higher than your budget, but it would help disinfect better. It was less abrasive, so less people are allergic to it. It also cleans the air, and it also gives the house a lovely, tranquil, nice smell. Would you have opted for something like that?
To be honest, yes, if I could have afforded it.
Yeah.
At that stage, everything was if we could afford it.
That's right.
But as soon as we got to the stage where we earned a little bit more, definitely I would have.
Yes.
And then would you have been interested in actually making your own? So if you could have bought all the raw materials and used reclaimed containers, like shampoo bottles and whatever, and mixed your own products in bulk, would that have been something you did? Would you have wanted to do that?
Yes, I would have. It was cost effective and user friendly and environmentally
and easily,
friendly, and nobody was allergic to it.
I think we would have, because I remember Beryl and I made our own muesli. We used to go to the health shop and buy all the raw materials, raw rolled oats and what have you, and we made our own muesli. So we were not adverse to making stuff. And also, even before my babies were born, we lived in a flat next to a lady who used to run a bakery on the farm, and she taught me to bake bread, and she taught me to make my own yeast from grated potato, and I would bake all. So you start with a little plant, as they call it, and then grate potatoes, and you make your own yeast. It's delicious. It's much better than normal yeast.
That's what the Hebrews do, the Jews do. So at one of the festivals, they actually clean the house.
Yes.
And that's the one thing they throw away, and then they start a new one.
And I used to bake my own bread and bake about 8 loaves and freeze some of them. So I definitely would have done that.
John, we baked our own health rusks in there.
I remember that. And so in the cleanliness, do you believe with your children, I know that your boys got up to some crazy stuff. I'm sure your boys did too, but you lived further. But I think maybe yours was a bit worse.
I'm not so sure.
She just never told us. And so did you ever worry that you were not giving them the opportunity or making it clean enough for them?
The house.
Yes. All their clothes?
No.
I was very meticulous.
They had to put their clothes in the wash every night.
Changed clothing. There was no re-wearing of clothing. You had to do it on the outside anyway, I'm sure. No. Linen once a week. Towels once a week.
Yes. Everything changed once
every day.
So Beryl, you've especially with this COVID thing, you work for a doctor that is attached to a hospital, and he's a surgeon, so you've got I want to say clients, but they're patients in the hospital. Yes. And what is the one thing you've been telling us this whole time that's most important?
Well, what we do is as soon as in the rooms that the patient's been seeing, we go in, the hospital's been giving us a mixture in a spray bottle. I think it's like a bleach tablet or something that the hospitals use, that you add water and we spray down wherever somebody's breathed or touched, like the arms of the chair, the edge of the desk. the bed that they sit on. There's no more linen on the beds. The beds are just the bare leatherette. And if the handles of the taps we wipe off. If they've used the bathroom, we even wipe off the toilet chain. Wherever they've touched the bell, they ring. Everything gets wiped off between patients.
So there's one thing that people must do the whole time. You've said it all along. It's about the washing of the hands.
Yes, the washing of the hands.
So she forgot now what she's been saying.
I know exactly what I say it for me.
Okay, so Beryl maintains that it's personal hygiene that is going to combat whatever COVID or whatever virus comes after.
But what's interesting is people that I have worked with often and that work where I work and the person that works in my house, every winter they would have 3 to 4, if not more, bouts of very bad flu.
Yes.
This year, nobody has had flu. And I heard a couple of years ago that we are not, simply, never mind the masks, just simply not washing our hands properly often enough.
Yeah.
So now we receive the money from the patients, we get up, we go wash our hands. If it's too busy, we've got the alcohol little bottle there that we just rub on our hands. But we prefer to wash them properly. So if everybody just teaches their children to simply just wash their hands, they would still bring stuff home from school, I'm sure, but they would not be as sick.
Well, it used to give me the heebie-jeebies that children that came to visit were not taught to wash their hands after going to the toilet.
Oh no, before they eat.
Yes, I was so strict. No, but going to the toilet, crying in the bucket, especially boys. They don't. They're not taught. They're not taught to do that. One movie that I watched, he kept shouting to his daughter, "Wash your hands." No, he didn't do that. He kept saying, pull the chain. But not once did he say, wash your hands. And I'm thinking, the washing of the hands is more important than the pulling of the chain.
Absolutely. In the old days, they used to pull the chain 2 or 3 times in the day, and so that you didn't waste so much water. Yeah. Okay. That's quite important to keep. But now, Beryl, in this time, you must be struggling with your hands because Beryl's got very sensitive skin, and so alcohol mustn't be killing you today.
Okay, so what happened now this year with all the alcohol in and out of every shop and in and out of every entrance at work and bad blood circulation, my fingers split and my hands were splitting even on the knuckles. So I then do not believe in the wearing of the surgeon's gloves. If going out to the shop, you're going to be carrying that germ from place to place.
It's the same as having bare hands.
But what I did was I wore the gloves to protect my hands. So every time I went in or out anywhere, I let them put the alcohol on the gloves, and also I could wash that as if it was my hands.
Yes.
And working with the files and with the x-rays, my fingers would bleed that protected. So I would actually wear gloves just about all day.
So the alcohol is a bit of a struggle for you.
Very dry.
But it is the one thing that actually really is proven to actually work.
Yes, well, the medical research says actually that's what works.
Yeah.
That is nothing else kills it quite like that.
But now, so I don't know if you know, you might, Kitty, but I don't know if you know there's different kinds of alcohol and different strengths of alcohol. So I've been going into the shops and some of the stuff smells like methylated spirits. It's terrible.
No, it's dreadful.
And I think it's like very, very harsh. And so one of the things I do on one of my workshops, if you could find one that's got a sort of the most body-friendly alcohol you can, is that something you would enjoy?
Absolutely.
Okay, good, because I bought you some. This is my hand sanitizer. Fabulous. And
so did you bottle this?
Yes, so what's in there is perfumers. Okay, you can edit that out. It's perfume is alcohol, so it's what we go in a
It
perfume.
smells like lemon.
And I've got some lemon here. Lime. And lime. And what else did I put in there? Now I can't remember what I put in there.
Eucalyptus.
You can know. Tea tree.
Tea
So
tree.
there's tea tree because tea tree is antibacterial. You can smell the tea. Beryl likes very clean smells.
I use the tea tree.
Yes.
I have a cut all
Okay,
that.
right.
Okay, but tea tree smells a lot like eucalyptus.
Yes, there is. They got from the same family.
Family, okay.
Okay, so there's lime, but what's in there is a little bit of vegetable glycerine.
Okay.
So it's emollient, so it isn't so it helps protect the skin a little bit. And I don't know if you know what colloidal silver is.
Yes.
Okay, so put colloidal silver in.
Okay.
And it's
Colloidal silver comes from the ancient Egyptians.
Oh, really? Tell me. I didn't know that.
Yes, they use silver as a healing and as an antiseptic.
Okay.
And you can actually buy colloidal silver in big bottles at the chemist. And if you have a problem in your eyes, you can use colloidal silver.
That's awesome.
And when Pierre, the minister, who is diabetic, kept getting eye infection and he would want to touch his eyes, I gave him a bottle of colloidal silver and little cotton wool ball. I said to him, every time your eyes start, don't touch it with your hands, wipe it with colloidal silver.
Okay.
And it healed it.
Awesome. Yeah, so colloidal silver is incredibly good for you.
Yes.
And so if you put it in your hand sanitizer, it takes away from, it doesn't damage your hair. It doesn't destroy
But did you
your
know
hair.
that if you drink it, eventually your skin turns blue?
Blue. Fabulous. It would be lovely.
It would be good if it was the hair or so.
Yeah, silver hair. That's what we're looking for, silver hair. Okay, so what was the most difficult thing for you that you found, and you're not allowed to say your husband, in keeping your home peaceful and tranquil and things like that? What was hard for you?
Look, I'm not the most tidy person, so I don't know if this is what you're getting at. I'm not the most tidy person. I like to clean stuff, but I don't keep it as tidy. Keith, my husband, not saying he was the problem, he likes it to be very tidy.
The thing is, its place.
And to me, that, I come in, I put my handbag down on the table. And so for me, that is difficult to keep it extremely tidy. Extremely tidy.
But clean it was always
clean it was clean. Yeah. So
my biggest problem was I always had lots of dogs and cats because everyone brought their strays to me, and my children the stray cats used to come, just arrive, and then they would stay. And when one of them had a stomach problem, oh my word! You try and keep that. You try and keep that clean. That was the biggest problem. No, seriously, that was because they weren't allowed out at night. They used to be all locked in the kitchen. And what a surprise!
Chaos.
If they weren't well. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So then I know that from being a mom. So the best compliment I got when I first. When I was first pregnant with my oldest daughter, Kerry, and just to say that we love each other's children almost like our own, just very, very close, that we, our children are just ever so slightly above our sister's children. Yes. We absolutely adore our family. And so the one thing I remember you saying to me, and it was a compliment because I'm a pack rat, it's very difficult. So Beryl says she's not that tidy. I'm worse than Beryl, and our other sister's worse than me, which is good. I'm not like at the bottom. That's fine.
And we hoard.
We have to literally be getting rid of stuff all the time. Yeah. So the biggest compliment you gave me ever was that you were impressed with how organized I was with my babies. I don't know if you remember saying that.
Yes.
Yeah. So because every mother and homemaker always carries around a lot of guilt. I don't know if it's just me.
No, we all do.
But I think we feel guilty around things. And one of the things I always felt guilty was possibly not giving my children what I thought was the best, or having the cleanest home.
Yeah. You know what is, as I said, if it's a show house, then it's not a home.
Yeah.
I know of people, friends my age, who used to have to take their shoes off when they got home. Now, Mommy never made us take our shoes off so they didn't mess up the floor. Yeah. Now, to me, that's not a home. I mean, don't come in with galoshes full of mud, but but come home from school and be allowed to walk in, etc.
Into your house.
The one thing that I've found and I've taught myself and I've shared with others is when you're going from one room to the other and there's something that doesn't belong there, pick it up and take it with you. Then it's not an extra trip.
You're like a cup or whatever.
Yeah, and go and put it away. And the other thing is, for instance, if you're going to the bathroom and the basin isn't quite clean, don't wait until you can clean the whole bathroom. Clean the basin. And then when you finish, make sure that it's all clean and tidy, which not all members of the family do.
Yeah.
You actually taught me that, and I do that.
So
Now I know why.
Yes.
And I must say that when my children were little, that was the first thing I did every morning is clean the basins, the toilets and the bath.
Yes,
Every day. The toilets especially because the little ones would go and dabble their hands in and, you know, so...
And the dog might take a drink. It has happened.
They've always had bigger dogs than me. So my Jack Russells can't get to the toilet. They'll be swimming on the
But
other
you know,
side.
I don't think I ever felt guilty about my house because I had a combi and I used to pick up the whole neighborhood of kids to take them to school. Every Saturday they would all come to us for lunch and they have hot dogs. Not very healthy, but that's what they wanted. Hot dogs. And I always had enough hot dogs and hot dog rolls, you know, Vienna sausages and hot dog rolls in the freezer so that whoever came, food for all, everyone would come to my house. So I never felt guilty that the children were shy to bring their friends in.
Yeah.
But I must say that sometimes when adults came that were a bit picky or a bit snooty, then I would feel,
Your house isn't fancy.
but then
judging you.
eventually I was more happy to have the children there than the adults anyway. So
Well, look, I must just
We like children's honesty.
yes,
This might not stay on the video, but when we lived in Clarksdorp and that, and the kids were in bed and that, I'd want to be comfortable, so I'd take off my bra and put it on the coffee table.
Best place for
And be
it.
comfortable.
Yes.
Once or
I'm going to
twice,
tell you, it's going to definitely make the video.
colleagues of my husband would come back. Oh my word, I have to call You're very comfortable.
That's the best.
I didn't know that.
Well, I hope Keith doesn't watch this.
It's going to be on Facebook. So I'm sure, Beryl.
So you've got to be comfortable, it's got to be a home.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I tell you what, all the ladies that are going to read it are going to go, oh, we do that too. I'm not even going to lie to
This
you.
has been discussed in Bible study.
Okay, so if you had to, so now I'm the youngest of the four daughters. Kitty's a draftswoman, and she's had to look for very few jobs. Jobs actually find her. It's very funny.
Amazing.
She always thinks that she now doesn't know what she's going to do or she actually when you first got your first proper job, she didn't know if she wanted to go back to work after having her children, and the guy came and begged her to go and work for him.
Yes, you know, it was a Saturday morning and I got this knock at the door. I had, when we were first married, we both worked. Then when we had the children, we decided we'd do it less, but I would stay home and look after the children. So when Stephen, my second son, was 5, I was able to put him in nursery school. So I wanted a job and I wanted a half-day job. So I sat in the bath that night and I said, Lord, you know that in my profession, drawing plans, there aren't half-day jobs. But I really need to, because we need the finances now that the children are going to school, and I actually need a job. And a week later, this man came to knock at my door. The guy who sold us our house wanted us to buy a bigger house, and his friend was an engineer. And this engineer, complete stranger, knocked at my door and said, I want you to come and work for me. I said to him, what? And he said, no, I want you to come in. I need a draftsman. So I said, fine. I wasn't really looking for a job, but it must be half day. No, he says, not half. They said, no, leave it. No, he says, no, come. Let's try it for 3 months. And we'll try it at my home. And I worked for him for 33 years. And then when that stopped, he closed his company. And Peter had already been retrenched. And I knew that we would then have to sell our home. So I phoned my eldest son, Richard, and I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, because now I don't have a job. And our pension has got smaller because of the economy. And I don't know what I'm going to do. And 2 days later, he phoned me and he said, Mom, 3 of my friends, there are 5 young engineers getting together. They're starting a new company. They're looking for a draftswoman. So I said, Richard, they won't want a 65-year-old woman. So he said, just go for the interview. So what actually happened is the 1 month I finished the one job, the next month I started the next job at the company, and I got an increase. And now during COVID, I'm working from home, so I haven't stopped working, and the Lord brought all my jobs to me.
Awesome. And then Beryl, who says she's not that tidy at home, she is a great admin organizer. She is possibly one of the best admin people I know, and she's always worked for doctors who their thing is to do the work, and then Beryl organizes and does everything for them. And so Beryl has always been, you always had to look quite hard for a job and then get it, and then they didn't want you to always leave and that kind of thing.
When we got married and we went to Clarksdorp, everybody said, oh, you're never going to get your salary or that. And within a week, I had a job with a salary.
Yeah.
And then when my first eldest child was going to school, I wanted a morning job, but I used to do promotion. And I knew this doctor that used to walk past me, and I said, I'm looking for a morning job. And when he went to school, I worked for them in the mornings.
Yeah.
And then when we moved to Pretoria, they said, oh, there's no jobs. And when I went into the one hospital just to give my CV in, they said, can we give you an interview now? And the next day I started working.
So it's not been not difficult, but it hasn't been that difficult, but it's been, so it's just so strange. And so my other sister is a nurse, and nurses have jobs in hospitals and everything like that. But I'm a bit of the anomaly here, because I don't really like working for a boss very much. And so I'm the creative one. They used to call me the weird one, but I think I'm trying to get them to call me the creative one. It sounds better.
We'll remember that.
They won't remember that. So what do you think of, I've started Healing Rose, and I'm training people to do, doing workshops on running a better home, or, and trying to take the guilt out of it and trying to put it properly into your budget, because of what I've learned over the years, from all my sisters. We are 4 sisters, but then we've got a few extra ones that kind of aren't biologically connected, but they could be, like Sheila.
Yes.
But so what do you think of doing that, of trying to empower women? Or homemakers, not even just
doing the homemakers work.
So I'm doing that because I want to be able to help women make their own face creams and not have to pay 700 rand for a face cream, and then make their own house cleaning products and things like that. If you were, I know that you're at a place where you're probably pretty set in your ways, and if I make it for you, you maybe use it or whatever. But if you were my age and maybe younger or that, would you?
But I would even do it now if it's there, because at the moment
I know there's a lot of products that aren't good.
Yeah.
The spray things aren't good.
Yeah.
Well, and I've now stuck my night cream. I use coconut oil. Because you said to me, I said to you which natural product, and you said coconut oil, and I'll put a few drops of essential oils in. And Avril, my skin's wonderful with the coconut oil. And you know what happened with Gabriel, my grandson? He got very bad eczema on his hands, and I nearly freaked. I said to his mom, Mary's, look at this child. And she said, no, he won't put the stuff on. So I gave him some of my coconut oil, and I said, you go and use this every day. Granny's going to check on you every day. And you know what? His eczema is nearly gone.
Yeah.
From coconut oil.
Yeah.
No cortisone, no additives, coconut oil.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I think look, I'm allergic to everything. We said just now I'm allergic to ABV. So if I would try it, for sure.
So like Beryl, the household products I use, they are, I show people how to blend. The base is castor soap, which is a natural base, and then you add essential oils or whatever to it. I mean, you would buy that more than you would buy a product from a supermarket.
Yes.
If it was in your budget.
If it was within the budget and it worked and it was user-friendly, for sure.
Okay. Okay. So because what I'm trying to do is we buy those big bottles of pump action shampoo, and that's a lovely bottle to put at your I put dishwasher in and in your bathroom, and you can even use it to wash your hand washing and even.
But look, I actually already do that basically because I buy the Neolife product, which is concentrate, and I mix it in a bottle to use for dishwashing. And
so you're really doing that.
I'm really doing that.
And you know that everything in there is. It's important for you to know that everything in there is
bio-friendly.
Bio-friendly. Yeah.
And also the washing powder that I get from Neolife, it has no packing in it. So it doesn't damage your machine, it doesn't pack on and do all sorts of stuff. It's very pure and you only use like 2-3 scoops for a use.
So no soap, scum and stuff.
Nothing.
Like
And
so that's important to you.
I use it. That's all I use. And even I don't use Savlon or Dettol, I use Care, which is also from Neolife, which also comes in a concentrate and you mix. So I'm actually already doing that.
Yes. To a certain extent.
Yes.
Okay, so
I would definitely go.
So what I'm doing, you find, and this is important for me to get from my sisters who I've learned from. It's important for me to for you. You don't need to give me permission, but to have that you think what I'm doing is useful.
Definitely.
Maybe our blessing.
Yes, that's what I was looking at. That's the word.
You took my water. Which one's mine?
I'm not sure. I think this one's yours.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you. That was awesome. I appreciate it so much. They were so nervous to be on camera, but I think, and you can give me comments in the bottom, that my sisters are very beautiful. And I think they're awesome on camera. And I think our cameraman's going to agree with me. He's nodding. So if you are interested in doing your own thing and knowing, this is what I love. I tell you exactly what is in the product, and you'll know exactly how it's formulated in the product. On all my courses, you get you get all the raw materials, and I show you how to mix them. And if you've got, they build onto each other. So if you've bought 5 essential oils with these 3 courses, you'll be able to use them on the next 3 courses. So eventually you'll have a kit, and you'll be able to use it across from your home to your body. I say on my website that aromatherapy is friendly for grandma and grandpa, even the baba, and even your furry friends, your 4-legged children. And so this is my heart, is to give you guilt-free living, to give you a tranquil, peaceful, clean, but homey environment. Okay? And so if you're interested, there will be a link below. Click on it and go and look at our website. And on our website, there's a link or an email address, Avril@HealingRose, and you can ask me questions. So that was lovely, and we can have another cup of tea. And thank you, my sisters. I love you so much. I'm touching them, I know, but I have cleaned my hands. And I hope to see you soon on the other side of this.
Aha!